It is the eighth. That's the 8. That's 3 if it's up and down. If it's like this, that means 8. Just like that's 2 and that's 7. Anyway, this isn't that complicated, but we'll get into some of the complicated trades that might be part of unusual option activity right now. First thing you need to understand is that this disclaimer says my presentation today is for educational and informational purposes only. Full stop. All investments involve risk, folks. So before you make any investment, please either consult a financial professional or make sure that you're appraised and understand the risks that you take with any investment. Our intellectual property is as follows. We have trademarks, registered marks, patents, and copyrights on virtually everything you're about to see in this presentation. So before you use anything that we're about to present, please ask us before you use it. And then, of course, we'd ask that you cite Market Rebellion. There's my brother Pete. Yeah, he did play for Tampa Bay and the Bucks. He also played for Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings, and I believe at that time it was LA Raiders. Anyway, Scott was acknowledging that. You see, by the way, some of those helmets on the wall behind him, behind Pete, in his basement, as well as, of course, that Buccaneers pillow on the couch back there. Anyway, Pete was giving you unusual option activity today, so let's cover that. Walt Disney. So the stock popped by $9. And as you know, I had, and Pete had, unusual activity in Disney a couple weeks ago, still paying off big time. And we have continued upside call buying. They have rolled up now to the February 190 calls. Wow. And that's after this furious run that the House of the Mouse has been on. Now, I did not buy just those February 190s. I wanted to show you what I did. I bought the 190s and sold the 197.50s. Now, if you look at that, it is roughly $2.50 thereabouts that I paid for that spread. The differential between 565 and 316 where it is now. You see that huge volume, 17,000 of those changed hands and about 2,000 of the other. Now, by putting those two together in a one-to-one spread, I have mitigated some of that time decay, which is extreme in the final weeks of an option's life. I have also hit the volatility, which if all of a sudden volatility was to collapse in Disney and you're just holding at the money calls, you're going to suffer. But if you have sold something else against it, that call that you've sold is also going to suffer along with yours, which means you've mitigated some of that pain that you otherwise would feel. That's just how I would trade it. You have to decide what's appropriate for you. By the way, I've cited this one several times, and I think last week, Voyager opened 100,000 new accounts. Now, that's part of a press release, not just me cheerleading them, but in full disclosure, Pete and I own significant stakes in Voyager. We think it's one of the best crypto brokers out there. Not only do they have 50-plus digital assets, but they also have commission-free trading. That's right, no commissions to trade on the Voyager platform, and they have interest that they pay you for even if you're trading it. You're not locked up. It's not like, oh, you can't sell. If you have Bitcoin on their platform, right now, that Bitcoin in US dollars, USD, 8.5%. I'm sorry, 5.5% for Bitcoin. USDC is 8.5%. Ethereum, as you see on there, is 4%. These are the interests that they will pay you if you've got any of those coins. So I'd encourage you to check it out. By the way, since many of you have been nice enough to flatter us about what a great platform it is and what a wonderful investment it has been, thank you for that. There is a graph of how it has done in the past, what is that one? Almost 2 months, I guess. So it's only up 2,600%. Why? Well, because just after the election, which is right on that far left side of your graph, you notice the stock for Voyager just took off. It's VYGVF. And it took off because A, they're opening a ton of new accounts. B, people are really focused on digital currencies like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like even Doge, which you've heard Elon Musk talking about lately, and the Wall Street Bets crowd over on Reddit talking about it. I was lucky enough that my daughter talked with me about Doge, and I bought a chunk of Doge, and boy, was I happy that I did, because it's only up a ton in the past little bit. Now, I'm not trying to make this about me and bragging about investments. I'm trying to say that this is a really solid brokerage firm that is now $1.7 billion or $1.9 billion, somewhere in that range, that they have grown to over the past couple months because they do such a great job with digital currencies. So I'd encourage you to check it out. It's a Canadian-based company, but it also trades U.S. OTC. They are trying to uplist on the NASDAQ as well. And when they do, I think that graph might continue. But that's not investment advice. I'm telling you about my position, and I haven't sold a single share. Let's talk about BPs, shall we? Pete was talking about BP options and the February 22 calls. As you see, the stock just shy of that. So if you're somebody like me who likes buying at the money or even in the money and selling out of the money against it, 1-to-1, because that's what I do, this is a great candidate for that. You could buy the 2150s, you could buy the 22s, and so forth, and sell upside calls. There you see the stock was 2175 when Pete was talking about that activity in the Feb 22s. And there you see the stock moving up to almost 22, and that big pop where my arrow is there, of course, when Pete mentioned it on the halftime report. Yeah, that doesn't go unnoticed, but it also is a big responsibility for us to make sure that we are pure as Pharaoh's bride, because we want to make sure that we are following our protocols for that unusual activity. We don't trigger the unusual activity, folks. We follow it, and we are like surfers. When we see that activity hit, we start paddling, getting on that wave and trying to ride it to make money on that trade. That's what we do. So the activity that Pete cited was some other institution that was in there buying. We jumped on those trades and rode it along with them. We are not the creators of the wave. By the way, speaking of creators and speaking of thanking you, seems like just 2 weeks ago we were approaching 10,000. Now we're solidly over 12,000 subscribers to Market Rebellion. You should subscribe. This is the YouTube channel. It is completely free. There is no credit card. There is no registration. But if you're a YouTube user, please click on that subscribe button. Subscribe to it. Why? Because then you'll get Pete's The Take, as you see right there. Pete's The Take, you'll see my Compound Interests podcasts. You'll see and hear my 60-second videos in the morning, our weekly market report with AJ Monty, as well as, of course, 3 at 3. All of those show up on our YouTube channel. If you don't want to miss a single thing, right next to that subscribe button on the screen, you could just press that little bell, and it will alert you every time there's a new video going up, so you stay in touch and stay up with what's moving in the markets, what Pete's talking about, what I'm talking about. Check it out on YouTube, and then just type in Market Rebellion into the search bar and click subscribe. Might even click that bell as well. Thank you, folks. Final trade. So Joe Terranova was Yum China. We had my lovely friend from Houston who talked about Grayscale Ethereum Trust, ETH. Love that one. Nice choice there by you. Also, Rob Sechin, I think, did the Financial Spider, the XLF. Pete did Advanced Micro, 91.87. There you see it, 91.25 right now. Had a little bit of a pop when Pete mentioned it that carried it through 92. Now about 91.25 for unusual option activity. All right, now let's cover some of the questions that you guys have asked. At Jon Najarian or at 3, the word at 3 underscore UOA. That's again for all of you listening on Sirius Satellite Radio. If you'd like to send us a question, you don't have to be a subscriber. You can just do that on Twitter at Jon Najarian or at 3 underscore UOA. WWR. All right, Mr. Jake Russell. That's at MRJAKERUSSELL. Says, John and Pete, what are your guys' thoughts on WWR? Is it a hold? Yes, it is, sir. You already know that, I'm sure, Jake. Like the stock. I like how it's been performing. I think it will continue to perform. It's lithium. It's graphite. It's a lot of the things that you need for battery technology. I like the stock. I have traded in and out of it. I don't believe I'm long it right now. I think I took profits. But I'm always willing to reload on unusual activity, and this one's had plenty. Thank you, Jake. This one comes to us from at Pana underscore Chris. That's PANA underscore Chris. What are your thoughts on Teva going into earnings? Still holding the 12 calls for next week? Yes, I am, Chris. I like the stock. I like the performance. I think this is one of the great plays in generics. And so, yeah, Israeli generics drug maker Teva. I like it, still holding it. And those calls have been working, my friend. Thank you. Let's talk about some BTC, shall we? This one comes our way from at KROBUSEK. By the way, Andrew Coffey is the guy that loads these up. I appreciate the great work Andrew does ferreting out all these questions from the thousands that were asked every day to get a few of them up here. You guys, we appreciate all of you asking us questions about stuff that we'd like to talk about. Elon and BTC. John, if you step back and think for a minute, he will be using this for payment flow and it will grow. BTC will become part of the balance sheet for earnings as countries starting to roll out their new cryptos. China will start trading payments and the dollar end date is coming, ? Thoughts? ? All right, let's get into it, shall we, Joseph? I like that Elon Musk has done this. I should have bought even more, knowing that in all likelihood he was going to do this. I made a nice score on the Doge coin when Elon tweeted that, and when it showed up on Wall Street Bets. Thank you, Wall Street Bets mod. I think he will be using it for payments. I think it will grow. I think that more and more big businesses are going to use it. Obviously, the biggest endorsements last year were Square and PayPal, but certainly Elon Musk over at Tesla saying that they will start taking BTC, Bitcoin, is a huge deal as well. So, yeah, I agree. Love Elon, love Bitcoin, love Doge, love VGX, which is the Voyager coin, as well as, let's see, what else do I have? Litecoin, Uni, and Ethereum. Subscribe. All right, let's see. Some YouTube accounts have bigger audience than all of cable news combined. This comes our way, that statement rather than question, comes our way from at HURRYA1. And yes, sir, you are correct. Our YouTube account gets an awful lot of traction. We have an awful lot of subscribers as well, as I just cited moments ago. I'd encourage all of you to go there and subscribe. We appreciate you. We hope you're getting a lot out of these videos. We will continue to offer these for free on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I think many YouTube channels should have a bigger audience than cable news. We're also able to do longer format interviews and discuss things more in depth than virtually anybody on cable news could, because they have commercial breaks and all the rest that they have to, they're under, as far as cash flow for those enterprises, it's a lot heavier lift than it is for us to communicate with you guys. So we appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me here today. I think that's our last question. But if you'd like to learn more about what we do, please go to marketrebellion.com/UOA. That is marketrebellion.com/UOA for unusual option activity. If you're new to options, hey, we're there for you. We can help you. If you'd like to get basic education, intermediate, advanced, we have all that, as well as coaches and mentors. You can get all of it at marketrebellion.com/get started. Thank you, folks. I hope you had a good time, enjoyed this today, and we certainly enjoyed being with you. Have a great one. Tell a friend. See you tomorrow. I'll be on the Halftime Report at noon Eastern Time. Bang.